Hello and welcome everyone. My name is still Maro the Cat. Thank you very much for stopping by. Today, I want to watch a video from JoCat. I've been watching JoCat in the past. His Final Fantasy videos were so amazingly funny. I hope this one will be as well. And yeah, I mean, he's a fellow cat. Gotta show support to my feline neighbors. I think his video is intended for beginners, and I don't think I'm a beginner in Monster Hunter Wilds. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. I'm completely fine. This is normal. This is a normal amount of playtime, all right?
You'd think a video game titled Monster Hunter would be fairly straightforward, but most who play it long enough to get their shiny tuchus whooped by an overgrown lizard realize that hunting monsters is not really that simple. With how deep and even obtuse this game can be, some new players may find the various systems and menus and stupid multiplayer functionality to be a bit daunting.
Oh, yes.
So, lucky for you, as the official Sword and Shield captain, I also happen to be one of the greatest monster hunters of all time, according to me. So, packs and potions,
according to him, all right.
To single-handedly waste your whole team's card supply. We're going hunting in the Forbidden Lands. Welcome to a silly little guide to Monster Hunter Wilds.
I really like his video style. The basics.
Today you will begin your monster hunting journey, a road paved with the act of slaying monsters so that you can turn them into pants to help you slay more powerful monsters in order to turn them into more powerful pants.
Exactly.
And that is literally all the game comes down to.
Pretty
Hunting
much.
monsters. Now, although everyone calls you a hunter, you're actually playing Batman. And that's because the first most important lesson of Monster Hunter, you become more dangerous with prep time.
Very correct.
Once the beautifully rendered but ultimately linear opening cutscene is finished, you will be making one of the most important decisions in the entire game. Choosing your weapon, of which I will have a guide for each one in finer detail as to their quirks and
he
kinks
will.
and turn-offs and
I'm gonna watch
negotiables.
them.
But for brevity, here's
I'm
how
so
I'll
gonna watch
categorize
them
for now in this very arbitrary rating system that I made up.
Okay, wait. So he ranked the weapons. Okay, where's mine? Charge blade. Charge blade, he put like skill floor is high, complexity is high. I guess the thing is, I don't know. It's the only weapon I play. I wouldn't even know how to play other weapons, and I don't know how complex they are. And at this point, I'm so much in my bubble with Charge Blade that I have no clue how complex it is or how complicated it might seem for people who are now playing it. It's interesting, though, that he made the effort, and I like the colors.
Just some of these descriptions may be intimidating or downright disgusting to some of you. That's okay. Wouldn't be the first time I've had people and cry and throw up at something hideous I made. Nothing matters, and we're all gonna die one day. A good rule of thumb I can say for now is to treat the weapons more like fighting game characters. Each one has its own moveset and combos and strengths and weaknesses that will require some time to get to know. I do recommend trying every single one of these weapons, which you can do immediately at the nearby target barrel. Or
I'm
in the
completely
training area
fine with
located in the
being
camp
a
later
Charge
on. And
Blade
even should you
one-trick
pick one
cat.
that only has a brief honeymoon phase, you can always swap it out from your tent at any time. My advice, the best weapon in the game is whichever one you have the most fun using. It doesn't matter what tier lists are made, what kill times are recorded, what the most recent flashy video you saw of someone absolutely nailing a super ass-kicking eardrum destroyer that you're probably never going to recreate. You should pick and learn the weapon that speaks to you the most. A monster hunter that loves the weapon they're using is a good monster hunter.
Very true. I think this goes for everything in life, by the way. As long as you enjoy what you're doing, it doesn't matter what you do or what other people say. As long as you enjoy it and you don't, it's your thing and you're passionate about it, I think it can be never wrong. That's the best the best choice you can make.
Now, the second thing to consider is your armor, and although you don't have many options at the beginning, these two sets of armor are going to be more important than pizza rolls and Halo 3 at a sleepover. And that is because, although defense is good and useful, equally as, if not more useful, are the passive skills that come with each piece of armor that you wear. In this case, the leather set has Botanist, which yields you more items gathered from herbs, nuts, bugs, and mushrooms, and the chainmail set has Geologist, which yields you more items gathered from bones, mining spots, and special trade items. Yep, part of the preparation includes venturing out into the wilds and picking the land dry like the world's most dedicated Roomba.
As a beginner, I guess.
Some of the interactables outside
I don't do gathering anymore.
Like vigor wasps and wiggly lichis,
I kind of
but
streamlined
everything else
that
is important
too
crafting
much.
materials for consumables or certain armors and weapons. Herbs, mining outcrops, random bugs on the side of the road, little critters doing what they do on the Discovery Channel, and feces. That is not a joke. Anything and everything is useful in some way, and it's always good to keep your storage box stocked up. So between every few hunts, it'd be a good idea to go out and gather. One day you will will run out of null berries, and you will only have yourself to blame. And that is why these 2 armor sets and these sets of skills are some of the best to have and use for the early game.
Okay, I'm not sure how many people will watch that and who are like a bit further in the game. For beginners, completely true what he said. Later on, you get people you can, like, they gather stuff for you, and you can select what they should gather for you. And it's most of the stuff that you would need basically on a daily basis. And then you have, like, if you rest a few times, you can just gather this, gather that, and you just like get it from all those people. And I'm at that point, where I have 1,200 honey, 1,000 nullberries, 1,000 of this and that. So the later on you go in the game, the more streamlined it becomes, and you don't need to gather as much anymore. But for a beginner, very much true.
And the late game, you will always have a need to gather. Absolutely swap out to something more catered to combat when you're hunting a monster, but it's always handy to keep a loadout of one or both of them at the ready for when you want to go pick flowers. After each gathering session, be sure to chuck all of that stuff into your box so that you can free up your inventory, be it for more gathering or useful items for the hunt. I highly recommend making an item loadout so you can quickly swap out your hoard of trash with items you'll know you'll always need.
Yes, I also did that.
Prepare for the hunt. Something specifically catered to the monster you're hunting, like fire resistance against a Rathalos, or the fact that the only time most men get flowers is at their funeral against Lalabarina. Keep this in mind, as it's going to be a very important aspect for the entire rest of the game. Wearing armor that has skills and defenses specifically for a certain type of monster will make the difference between impressing Gemma and depressing Gemma. And trust me, after seeing how some of you play, the worst she can say is not just no. Now look at you, all inventory full of supplies and armor prepped and ready for
like the
whatever
little
life can throw
jabs
at you
in between.
besides a devastating financial crisis. Hopefully the next monster on the to hunt list isn't something like the salary cutter or something. God, fuck! No! One thing I forgot, eating. It's important to always make sure that you eat before you head out. This will give you bonus health and stamina, and also some temporary buffs that'll be a great help during
that
your
made
hunt
me
due
hungry
to
now.
being a satisfied, well-maintained, healthy human being, as opposed to a depressed pile of flesh and bones who's on their 5th Red Bull and 3rd hour attempting to write a single email. This can be anything from bonus damage to elemental resistances to even saving you from what would be a fatal attack from the monster. Make sure to bring the ingredients best suited to the target you plan to hunt, or most likely, in your case, whatever ingredients you happen to have sitting around, like some Pop-Tarts or something. Even if it's just rations, always eat before a hunt. Now that you're on the hunt and ready for your inevitable triple carding, here are the important things to keep in mind while out in the wilds. The Monster Hunter Watch! Unlike your office workspace boss, the Hunters Guild is sure to supply you with a few helpful items right off the bat. With default controls, pressing left on the D-pad will allow you to find these items in your sacred pouch. These are free to take and use, or to just throw into your hoard back at camp. Note the items with the official guild crest. These are supply items and are temporary and will only last for that hunt, so it's good to use these before you start aiding into your own personally gathered supplies. Instead of just going in and mindlessly slapping the monster like it used your good razor to study the monster regions, try to take your time and learn the monster's moveset. Just like you, every monster has a limited move pool with animated tail.
So in general, I would say in Monster Hunter Wilds and in every Monster Hunter game, there's only such a point you can get to with like a strong weapon that you craft, a strong armor that you craft. The only thing that will save your butt at one point and will make you really, really good at the game is your skill. If you play a monster and learn the monster's movesets, that is when you become a good hunter. Like, not just a mediocre hunter that just goes in and hits it, gets hit, hits it, gets hit, hits it, gets it. I would say the more you play and the more you study a moveset of a monster and the more often you fight it, the easier it becomes. Like, oh, okay, he moves that way, I can block this way. It's so intuitive after some time. In the beginning, you probably get just slapped around. Though. But it's fine. It's fine. It's all a learning curve, right?
And signs for when it's going to do a certain attack. For instance, when this Rathalos rears its head back, I know it's about to shoot a fireball. Or when this Tashagama stands on its hind legs, I know that it's only got a 2-pair and is absolutely bluffing. Each monster also has a set of weaknesses and resistances to the various elements and ailments that your weapons and items can inflict. All of this and more can be learned by checking out your large monster field guide. Do not neglect this little book. It's got so much information that it's basically a wiki in your back pocket. It even has information about
Monster
Monster parts
parts.
can be broken, and not only will they drop delicious extra materials and increase the chances of rarer materials to be rewarded at the end of the quest, they'll also sometimes disable the monster's abilities in some way. Breaking Gypsaros's horn stops it from flashing. Cutting Quemetris's tail prevents it from making fire at all. In a similar vein, some parts of the monster are harder than others, and hitting them will deal less damage. And in some cases, depending on your weapon's current sharpness, risk your attacks bouncing off entirely, completely interrupting your combo like a...
This video is brought to you by you, giving me money.
Patreon. Just
If you're
randomly in
struggling
there.
with a monster, this is where your lovingly gathered supply of items comes in. You can absolutely apply the death by 1,000 cuts method of dispatching each of your targets, but just think about it. How much more annoying would it be if the monster had the ability to unplug your controller for about 10 seconds? Traps will keep them still, flash pods will confuse them and even knock flying monsters out of the sky. Barrel bombs are a consistent means
Very
of raw
important.
damage and a
Use
great
the
wake-up
items.
prank to post on YouTube. And all of those special curatives will be needed for the various horrible status effects that will be inevitably inflicted on you during your time in the Forbidden Lands. Antidotes for poisons, cleansers for when you're rooted in place, energy drinks for when you get real eepy. Oh, who needs a little blankie with cookies and milk? Keep in mind, you can only bring along
I
a
want
limited
milk.
number of certain items. But if you do want more, you can also bring in the individual crafting ingredients for a certain item so that you can just make more for yourself mid-hunt. When I said everything
Yeah,
is useful,
I did it as well. I
really
did it
do
for
mean
flash pots, for
everything.
mega potions, for
Most of the time, the monsters
traps.
will be neutral, using their basic attacks and relying on old, tired pickup lines. But just like you, the monster can run out of stamina, be it naturally over time from just fighting without a break, or after taking a significant amount of blunt force trauma. Once they are exhausted, as indicated by the hungry monster icon pulsing on the minimap, they'll exhibit the typical characteristics of someone in their 30s. Their movements will slow, they'll stand in place doing nothing for longer, drool will leak out of their mouth, and they'll have the strange urge to go back and play We Love Katamari again. The monster
What
will
is
also
that
stay
random
longer
jab
in
against
traps, so
people
it's
who
best
are
to save them
30?
for when the monster is exhausted to maximize their effectiveness. On the opposite end, occasionally the monster will get extremely pissed off and enter an enraged state, indicated by the bright red eye on the minimap, and begin to exhibit the typical characteristics of society whenever it sees someone in their 30s having fun. It'll scream a lot, sometimes change color, pull new attacks out of nowhere, making you wonder where the heck they got the idea from, and generally be a lot more aggressive. The most obvious indicator a monster is enraged is there's usually puffs of smoke coming from their face, showing the sheer unbridled seething the monster is going through after you told it that the Happy Meal doesn't come with a toy anymore. They still do, but think about how mad that sentence made you just now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would suck. Not gonna lie. That would suck. A toy in a Happy Meal is a staple in McDonald's. It's like it's embedded in history. You're not allowed to take it out. That's not allowed. I personally like when the monster gets enraged though, because I use a skill called Agitator. So you do more damage and crit more often when the monster's enraged. So
And as you can guess, certain tools and traps are far less effective when a monster's pissed. Basic rule of thumb is that you can and should still go up against a monster when it's enraged, but extra caution is advised, like bringing up your favorite anime on a first date. Killing a monster is not the only way to complete the hunt. Unless it's an Elder Dragon, which is immune to traps, you can capture a monster in order to end a hunt early by putting it in a trap and throwing 2 trank bombs while it's locked down. You'll know a monster's ready to capture when it's near death, noted by when it starts to limp, and its icon on the minimap will have a pulsing skull. There's a couple of reasons to do this. Firstly, captured monsters have different drop rates on certain materials. So if there's something that's been eluding you worse than the motivation to do your laundry,
This is the
trying to
thing, I never
capture
knew
instead of
that.
kill might be a good
Like,
way
not
to
the
increase your
exact
odds
thing.
of finding it. Secondly, it's
I
a
knew
good
that there's a
option in case
difference
the hunt
between
feels like
catching and
Thanksgiving with
slaying.
the family and you just want to get it over with quicker
But
so you don't have to
at this
listen
point,
to
I have so
Uncle
many
Jerry's thoughts on
materials that I
minorities
just
for another hour. And third,
catch
it's
everything.
the only option if Doyogama ever makes a return. And if he does, and I see so much as one slaying, I will personally curse you so that all your stickers will forever have an annoying little fold or air pocket too small to push out the side.
that's a very creative
And that should
curse.
cover all the major parts of a monster hunt. Always remember to carve after a kill and throw all your non-essential items back into storage before you start another quest. The last thing you want to do is to look for your potions mid-hunt and suddenly have to swim through a squirrel's life savings.
I
Take
do
your
that, like,
spoils to the
non-stop.
smithy to make yourself stronger. Check your field guide for information about a monster's capabilities, resistances, weaknesses, and sexual orientation, just in case you never know. And most importantly, never stop hunting. Crafting more
Just in
powerful
case.
armor and weapons will only get you so far. The biggest factor in your success is going to be your own skill and knowledge as a hunter. The more you keep at it, the more you, the player, will level up and become stronger.
So
And now
true.
you know the basics of Monster Hunter Wilds. Have fun.
What a great video. Like, I love JoCat's video. I didn't even play Final Fantasy 14, but I watched all his Final Fantasy 14 videos and they are insanely good. I laughed out loud. It's so good, so good. I cannot wait for him to tackle all the videos about the specific weapons, and I cannot wait for his Charge Blade one because I'm gonna critique that one. I have 150 hours in Charge Blade, nearly. So I will check on that. But yeah, that was a great video. Definitely visit JoCat, give him a like, give him support. I think he recently came back after some kind of hiatus. So yeah, definitely show him some love. I hope that was a nice watch together. And I hope also to see you next time, right? Have a nice morning, evening, day, whatever. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.